All right, welcome everybody. Another chill flight of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Going out of Phoenix SkyHarbor Airport tonight. Gonna do a sort of a sunset flight into the west, over to LAX in the little commuter jet here for SkyWest Delta Connection, the CRJ 700. One of the highest fidelity craft that's available right now in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Most everything is really well simulated and automated. In fact, we're going to probably be cheating a little bit off the capabilities of the aircraft and trying to use some VNAV to manage our descent, whereas the CRJ actually doesn't have VNAV in it in the real world, but we'll do what we can to use the benefit of simulated technology to get us back down onto the ground. Should be a relatively short flight tonight. It's just over an hour to get over to LAX. And yeah, kick back, relax with us, fly the friendly skies. We'll get on over into the cockpit, get the plane set up. Actually, first of all, I'm going to kick off PAX to start our flight. We're in the CRJ 700 from Phoenix to LAX. We're flight SkyWest. Actually, what's the call sign for SkyWest? I should know that. I believe it's Mesa. Nope, SkyWest. SkyWest 2995 tonight. Yep. Full plane. Let's go ahead and get that kicked off. We'll play Delta boarding music. Just realized my last stream was Delta. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of Delta, but I guess that's just the way that it is. We'll do the Delta briefing as well. We'll get snacks, no meals, definitely no Wi-Fi or entertainment system. It's just a flying metal tube. Not much going on. Alright, let's hop into the cockpit and get things kicked off. Let's see. We've already got our bag service and catering doing their thing. Ground power unit is connected. And we'll go ahead and move up to the panel and get things turned on. Battery is on. Available external power. We'll go ahead and arm the emergency lights. And we're going to set our window heat and probe heats to on. And what else are we going to do right here? Logo lights can come on, as well as the nav lights. No smoking sign can go on. Seatbelt will remain off because we don't have fuel on board yet. And let's get the overhead lighting turned up a little bit so that we can see what we're doing. Cool.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to welcome you aboard our flight. When you find your seat, please be sure to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. Unless you're in the front row, please place all of your items in the overhead bins. If you have any trouble finding a location for your carry-on items, please let a flight attendant know and we would be happy to assist you. If the overhead bin is full, please make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Please double check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats. If you're in an emergency exit row, please read the exit seating responsibilities in the card in the seat back in front of you. If you're not able to comply with these
Okay.
actions, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be received.
Go ahead and get
Now's
the
the time to
APU
get out
fired
any
up.
last-minute text messages if you need to, but we ask that once we depart from the gate, you put away any laptops or tablets. Thank you, and welcome aboard.
And let's bring our load sheet in and talk about fuel. We're going to need to go over to this guy and put in some fuel. Block fuel for the trip is 7,558 pounds. Come on now. There we go. Oh. Well, that's fine. We'll decrease the amount of fuel.
We're ready to go when you are.
And get it started. Let that balance itself out. Go back over here to the McDo and get our route put in. It's a very short route over to from Phoenix to LA, so this should be easy. We're at Phoenix SkyHarbor, Kilo Papa Kilo X-Ray. At what gate number are we at? B23. That will be the reference that we put into the FMC. Flight pan is Phoenix to KLAX, Los Angeles, California. We're in 21 miles. That checks out. And we'll go ahead and enter the departure information. We'll be leaving on actually runway 26. That's not correct. There it is. On the Keynes to departure with the messy transition. Go ahead and execute that. Then we'll be coming into the Hollywood 1 arrival for runway 25 left into Los Angeles. It's a great name. Via the Eastwood transition, because you can see there on our flight plan, Eastwood, for ILS 25 left. The Cebu transition on that approach. Perfect. That, I believe, is the entirety of the flight plan. Let's look at this. Runway 26 along the departure. From Messy, we go direct to Eastwood, so we can delete this discontinuity and go straight to it as it requires, and then on into our arrival into LA. Let's see. Yep. Go ahead and execute that again and get it locked in. And we'll take a look at get this thing out of the way for a second. Actually, let's do our performance stuff. Go ahead and close up the passenger door. The APU should be running by now, and it is. So we can get off of ground power. I had already switched it off, so we don't have anything to do there. We can remove the chocks, which disconnects that. We've closed the door. We're going to close our bays. We're going to send our happy people away. We don't need baggage. We don't need catering. Let's get them all out of there. And over to our performance tab. We have 70 people on board today. Actually, we're going to do zero fuel weight. Zero fuel weight of the aircraft is 60,142. Let's get all that cleared out. 60,142. And yeah, let's clear that out. 60,142, 60,142. Enter. And we enter again just to make sure we've got it as balanced as it can be, and we're just over our landing weight. We go to perf. Our cruising altitude today is flight level 360.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 2995, the service to Los Angeles. Our flight time will be roughly
fuel is
57 minutes. Please note the cabin door is now closed. We ask that you make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your larger devices are now shut down and stowed. If you have not already,
transition altitude of 18,000 feet.
Low and tight across your lap.
And climbing at 290 as expected.
Cabin crew, prepare cabin for departure.
Okay. I think that's our flight plan in. We can go ahead and turn on the seatbelt signs to get people in and turn the beacon lights on to make sure that we have everybody in their seats. I don't believe we need this guy anymore. Actually, where is the cost index? Is that on the... Oh, is that part of the perf? Well, we'll be doing toga takeoff today. And I can't remember where the cost index goes. I don't guess it matters. Yeah, that's fine. Let's get this thing fired up and out of here before our passengers revolt. We're going to need to activate our stabilizer trim, our Mach trim, and let's get the master warning, master caution cleared, and our tug guy connected. Mr. Pushback, get it started, buddy. Well, let's see. We're going to need to get our hydraulic system turned on too, aren't we? Auto on auto. And we'll go ahead and get our packs turned on. Okay, now it's just about us ready to go. Release the parking brake and start kicking it back. And start engine.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the screen for an important safety demonstration. Thank you for flying with us.
Hello, welcome aboard, and thanks for flying with Delta. Every time we
Okay.
take off, we try to make the
Add
world
some
a
fuel.
little smaller. Our first priority on every flight is the safety of our customers and crew. So please, give us
Fairly aggressive turn there, but that's okay.
the buckle and adjust the strap so it's low and tight across your lap. To release the belt, just lift the top of the buckle. Please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened anytime the seatbelt sign is on. And even if the sign is off, please keep your seatbelt fastened in case we experience unexpected rough air. For everyone's safety, federal regulations require all passengers to comply with the posted placards and lighted information signs located throughout the cabin, in addition to any crew members' instructions. Smoking, including the use of e-cigarettes, is not allowed on any Delta flight, and federal law prohibits tampering with, disabling, or destroying a restroom smoke detector.
Let's take a look at our
Life rafts
departure
are located in
information.
ceiling
That would be good to know.
compartments at the front and center of the plane.
Top altitude on the departure
event of
is
evacuation,
8,000
leave
feet.
all
Need
carry-on
to get that
items
dialed
behind.
in.
All exits are clearly marked with an exit sign. However, if there's a loss of power and cabin visibility is reduced, lights will illuminate the aisle to guide you to an exit. Please take a moment to find the exits closest to you, and remember, they might be behind you. It's unlikely, but if cabin pressure changes, the panels above your seat will open, revealing oxygen masks. If this happens, reach up and pull the mask toward you until the tube is fully extended. Place the mask over your
1,000
nose and
feet.
mouth, slip the elastic strap over your head, and adjust the mask if necessary.
We don't have
Breathe
any
normally, and note
restrictions or
that
anything that we
oxygen
need to
is
worry
flowing,
about
so
on
don't
this
worry if the
departure.
bag doesn't inflate.
So
Be sure to
that's
adjust your own mask
great.
before helping others. A water evacuation is also unlikely, but just in case, life vests are located under your seats in the main cabin. If you're seated in the first class or business class
current
cabin,
weather
life vests
in,
are either in a compartment beneath or adjacent to your seat. To use, remove the vest from its container by pulling on the tab and then opening the pouch. Slip the vest over your
Phoenix
head. Wrap the strap
is
around your waist and attach it to the buckle in front and
altimeter
adjust securely around your waist.
2968.
As you leave the plane, inflate the vest by pulling down on the red tab at the bottom of the vest, or manually inflate it by blowing into the tube at shoulder level. A water-activated light is attached to each vest. If necessary, we'll distribute additional life vests for children who weigh 35 pounds or less.
And
Now, before we take
Our
off,
flight
be
director
sure your seat is
on.
upright, your aisle armrests are lowered, and your tray table is put away. As we come through the cabin for our
get
final
the
safety check,
speed
please let
set
us know if you
to
need anything before we take
250
off.
knots. Actually,
And finally, now would be a good time for everyone
didn't
to
do our
review the
V
safety
speeds. I
information
nearly
card,
forgot
which is
everything
in your
here.
seat pocket.
V speeds are now set. V1 of
On
127,
behalf
rotate
of
at
everyone at
127,
Delta,
and a
thank you
V2
for
of
paying attention.
136.
Now, as we get ready for takeoff,
is what we'll put on
please
the
sit
dial.
back, settle in, and enjoy your flight.
Actually, 146, V2 plus 10. Yep. Our stabilizer trim is going to be 7.6. That value is right here. Let's go ahead and set that appropriately. Oh, it's not going to let me. Why isn't it
We're
letting
prepared
me?
for takeoff.
Let's get this guy out of the way. Okay, well, I'll have to figure that one out later. Now that all the engines are running, I can shut down the APU. We'll hit stop and turn the power off. And that is going to shut that guy down. Okay, I think we're ready to taxi. Let's get our taxi lights on. And we're ready to rumble. believe it's just a straight shot up here to Bravo 13 and onto the runway, so it just doesn't get much better than that. Let's see, what else do we need to do though? Reverser's armed. Spoilers are on, yeah, auto, that's perfect. And brakes. That spoiler brake is released, and here we go. Oh, got a door open over there.
Require additional lighting.
That's probably
There is a
bad.
leading light on the panel above you.
There we go. Yeah, somebody should have mentioned that, right? Okay. Alright. Parking brake set. Yaw damper is not set. That is... where is it? Here. Yaw dampers are now set. And we are ready to get out of here. Landing lights on. Strobe can come on. Let's start our... chrono. Good Lord, how do you start it? I'm missing something here. Okay, well, I guess we won't worry about that too much. Let's get out of here. The passengers are getting restless. They want to get back to LA. Okay, brake set. Engine thrust up to 40%.
Contact flaps.
Okay. Forgot to set toga mode. That's V1 and rotate. Positive rate, gears up. go ahead and get speed mode engaged, autopilot engaged, and nav mode engaged. We're back to flaps 1. Let's take a look at this departure. Oh yeah. That's the stuff right there. Bye-bye, Phoenix. Wow, what an aggressive climb. Yeah, that's wrong. I don't know what you're doing. You're not navigating, whatever the heck you're doing there. That's kind of screwy there, Mr. Autopilot. Don't be doing stuff like that, bud. Scaring the kids. Okay, slats in. And we are now... Why are you not holding altitude? I don't understand. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now passed 10,000 feet. You may now turn on your larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened while you're seated and do not congregate in the galleys or near the lavatories.
I guess let's get the altitude set since it wants to climb. Sure, I'm doing something wrong. $36,000 feet, speed set to 290 knots, and speed climb. Let's get that nose down just a little bit. Get some speed caught up here. Okay. Plane, what are you doing? This plane's trying to kill us tonight. What are you doing, plane? What the heck is going on? I think maybe our trim was messed up. Let's get on standard barometer. Okay, hold that climb. Okay, let's get the landing lights turned off. We have a minute to think. Turn the logo light off. We don't need that. It seems like it finally came to its senses. I believe I believe that's why the trim was really set wrong. So that's why the plane was freaking out. As usual, anytime you encounter stuff like this, it's pilot error. Let's get outside and enjoy some views. Yeah. That's what it's all about right there. Making a nice turn over to the end of the departure at Messy. Let's see. Menu nav. Well, since this is such a short flight anyway, let's go ahead and take a look. I keep wanting to click on that. It's the wrong thing. Charts. Let's look at the arrival. First restriction is to be below flight level 32,000 at Hollywood. And do we have any exact? No, we do not. Can't be below 17, 15, or 14 on these last little ones, but this is going to be an absolutely amazing approach in between the mountains over into California. So, man, that's going to be beautiful. Can't wait to see that. Yeah, so once we reach cruise, we'll come back and check that out again and see what it's going to take. Again, what I was saying earlier, this aircraft in the real world isn't equipped with VNAV, but the simulated version has a fake VNAV button that you can activate to help manage the descent, which is pretty good. Because the plane doesn't have auto throttle either, so it's kind of a pain in the butt to manage throttle once we get up at cruise, that it's going to really take off. And we're almost up there, so that's great. See, we're basically going to reach our top of cruise at Messy. Let's take a look here. Let's increase the range on this guy. Oop, that's the range. And let's clear off airports. It's a little too much clutter. Yeah, so I don't agree with the altitude that SimBrief gave me on this flight plan, so I think what I'm going to do is make an executive decision to reduce our altitude to 32,000 feet. because I think that will be a little bit more manageable. Oops, didn't mean to click that. Okay. All right, Alt Cap in just a few 100 feet. Appreciate anybody out there hanging out with me tonight. Leave a message in chat, say hi. Let's just enjoy the view. Hey Wyatt, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming along for the ride. I don't get to do this very often, so I'm terrible at it. So we're probably speeding up now that we've hit our cruise. Oh, we have. Let's see. Are we in? Yep, it switched over to Mach hold automatically. And it is relaxing. That's what I find. I mean, this part of it is relaxing. The taking off and the landing part is the scary part, and the stress, like sweaty palms are sweaty, mom's spaghetti kind of thing. What do I need here? Anything? No. I think I just need to... Yeah, I don't think I need to do anything. Seems to be... We're going into a really strong headwind, which is 23 knots right into our face. That's keeping our speed in check, where normally this plane would tend to sort of bottle rocket off. But such as it is, we can just kind of relax for a little bit before we have to worry about our... It's not actually... Let me double check that. So that's the end of the arrival. There's the Eastwood entry point. If we look at the information again, it's at Hollywood, which is quite a ways away before we have to start coming down. And we're already at that restriction, so we don't really need to worry about anything too much. So we'll call this guy done. We are literally in the middle of nowhere, Arizona right now. You absolutely can crash in it. And you can have it actually set very realistically too, where you have random things go wrong. If you want to, if that's your idea of a good time. It's not mine. I'm kind of into the whole, let's just relax and enjoy the ride for a little bit. And with the kinds of visuals that are available in this game, it's kind of hard not to just be amazed. But yes, if you like start doing barrel rolls or loop-the-loops or something like that, you'll absolutely rip the wings off of your plane like a dragonfly, and then it will be sort of game over. You can turn all that sort of detection off too, and it will happily do whatever you try to tell it to do. But it's, you know, I'm kind of in it for the as realistic angle as I possibly can get. Need to ooh, can I change it. Otherwise, it's never going to get to... Yeah, I probably screwed up. Let's have them... have them do drinks, because people are going to be grumpy because I changed my flight plan, so they're not going to get their drinks and snacks, which is a guaranteed way to piss off some people. Whoa. What is going on here? There we go. So, according to my instruments here, we're about 20 minutes out from LA, which isn't really the dusky flight that I wanted us to have. So let's see if I can speed things along just a little bit. That's a little bit better. Nice haze over the mountains. There's other views inside the plane as well that are really nice to see. I always picked the wrong one. Nope. Yeah, I guess that's the only wing view. There you go. I gave you the worst seat in the house, where you can just sit there and look at a wing for an hour. Not in this game, but if you notice at the bottom of the screen, I have this bar that's an add-on program that I bought called PAX for the passenger and cargo experience, and it actually simulates a crew, not a crew, but a register of passengers. Every one of them. You know, like Francisco Anderson is a 71-year-old male heading to LA for leisure. He's thirsty, but he's not hungry. Anyway, it's got this whole thing, and this one white dot is the only flight attendant, and she's checking on what Francisco wants. I guess he wants a drink, so maybe she's helping him out with that right now. It's a totally separate app, but it reads data and telemetry from the from the game and translates it into the experience here. And then what's worse is you can have passenger problems. Somebody may not want to sit in their seat, or they get sick and you have to do something. It doesn't happen very often. Hopefully it won't happen here, because I just want to go to my destination and call it a night. With these views, huh? Even got the jet exhaust heat wave distortion thing. It's pretty neat. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's do this. Just back in the cockpit. This is real time. This is only about an hour-long flight from Phoenix to Los Angeles, and it's 100% real time. And the world is 100% modeled in real size. So this is exactly how long a real flight would take. Get the camera screwed up here. There we go. And I used a real world flight to file my flight plan. So this is a real CRJ 700 flight that was done by SkyWest earlier today from Phoenix to Los Angeles. And we're doing it. And you can compress time as well. So if you wanted to do cross the Atlantic, but you didn't want to sit here for 8 hours, then you can double and quadruple the time, which makes it a bit more manageable. Love the lens flare effect. Somewhere J.J. Abrams is crying like a little girl. So it's kind of hard to see on the screen right there, but the flight computer has figured out what our top of descent is, just past, what is that fix? Monroe. So if I go back and look at our flight plan and the charted descent, the Hollywood 1 arrival into Los Angeles, what I should be able to do is enter the lowest point on this arrival, activate vertical navigation on the autopilot, and it will successfully calculate a descent trajectory through all of these points, maintaining these constraints. So it would pass Bruin at somewhere between 30,000 and 24,000 feet, and Avatar at 24 and 19, and so on. What up, these values that have a number with a line under them, means you cannot descend below those values. So, if I set 12,000 for Sivu, it should take care of itself. Speed restrictions are also very important. Not as important when it's just you, obviously, but if you're using another service like VATSIM or something like that to fly with other people and have real people air traffic control the space, then you really need to adhere to these things for spacing so that people don't smush into each other, which doesn't really cause a wreck or a crash, but it does tend to make people grumpy because simulation addicts really like their realism. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to set 12,000 in the box. Let's zoom in on this guy. Yep, 12,000 it is. And then we just wait for top of descent. Which is in about 20 miles. Actually, it tells you right here. 4 minutes to top of descent. 34 miles. That's great. Now, the normal way that you would manage this in this real aircraft is that it calculates a VNAV path, but it doesn't actually control it. So it's up to the pilots to follow the directives of the flight computer and set a manual vertical speed. And it tells you what the prescribed speed is to manage the speed and the descent to follow the vertical path down through the planned arrival. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be going right through these mountains here. So again, this is going to be a really pretty arrival. If you're just joining us, we're flying from Phoenix to Los Angeles today in the CRJ 700 on a SkyWest flight. Sure thing, Wyatt. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe and all that crap. Have a good night. I don't know how you like and subscribe on a Facebook post, but hey, it's all good. The barrenness of the country is pretty alarming out here. Okay, we're at top of descent. Let's activate VNAV. And down it goes. Okay, it's locked in on the appropriate path. And I'll reduce thrust just a little bit to help coax the plane down the path. So that's actually really clever. I, again, picked 12,000 feet, which is the lowest point on the arrival at Sivu. The plane knows that I need to be below 32,000 and around 30,000 at Bruin. So Hollywood below 32, somewhere between 30 and 24. 30,000 and 24,000 at Bruin. So if you look, this is the selected altitude. This is the constraint altitude that it's picked for itself. And this VNAV profile right here is showing basically fly level for a little bit, but then once we pass our new top of descent marker, it's going to kick it down and begin to descend the plane magically. And there it goes. About 1,000 feet per minute descent. And down we begin our descent into LA. Looking beautiful. Speed's holding itself really nicely. Let's go ahead and start thinking about the arrival, since we're on our descent. Based on our current configuration, we'll have a VREF speed of 129. Let's go ahead and pop those into the FMC. Whoa, why are we... just racing down? That's crazy. There's something, I don't know if it's something that I'm doing wrong or something else, but that was a very aggressive and unnecessarily so aggressive dive that the plane just did. I'm sure it's something that I'm doing wrong, but not 100% sure about that. Bugs do happen from time to time. And that cost me a little happiness points with my people there for having such a crazy steep dive. That's alright. Kick the engine thrust back up just a little bit so we don't lose too much speed. That's a little better. So, we also need to think about the local weather in LA. And I'll look that up right now. Winds 250 at 8 knots, altimeter 2978. Go ahead and plug that in over here so that I can look at it later. Perfect. A little too fast there. Double check our approach here. Can't be below 17,000. So it should. Well, it's not even going to be close there. I can't remember if there's The arrival. Arrival data. Aha. But that's not what I'm looking for. That's just about the airport. Okay. I don't think there's anything... Again, I'm not 100% experienced with this plane, so there's probably a... I'm used to setting it up like the Airbus A320 where you can put in some data about the weather and stuff, and it helps to calculate all of that. I don't necessarily know where that is. Actually, we do need to look at the approach as well, which is here. Wow, very complicated approach. Our decision height is 304 feet. Ooh, that's going to take a minute. Actually, we'll just go with 200 feet because it's an ILS approach. Perfect. And I just... Oh, there we go. Freaked me out. Okay, below 18,000 feet, we need to get off of standard, and it was 29.78. I change it. Cool. I need to slow down just a little bit. Okay, we're headed for, well, 14,270. Set the speed down a little bit. Awesome. Yeah. Really phenomenal. Okay, well, we're pretty well configured. A little fast, but not bad. Whoa, Bucky. I don't understand those dips like that. Okay. Okay. Intercept at 1900. Oop. And it should continue to manage our descent appropriately. Continue to kick it back just a little bit. I think it's making those weird dips like that in an attempt to catch up with some of the gaps. If you were actually flying this on an ATC, they would give you more specific ranges to descend to, and that would not be so herky-jerky But the fact that it's trying to follow these restrictions just so perfectly, I think it's causing it to wig out just a little bit. And, as I've previously stated, I barely know what the heck I'm doing. So, hey, there's that. Wow, what a view. Okay, landing lights come on. Taxi lights are on. The logo and wing lights on as well. Get this bird lit up since she's tiny. Yeah. That's the juice right there. And it'll be a straight in approach. So below 10,000 feet, 250 knots is pretty where we want to be. I'm doing a really good job managing that throttle. Somehow. And let's go ahead and get our speed dialed in of 129 knots. Actually, let's go down. I feel like it's behaving as though it has an auto throttle. I believe that's exactly what it's doing. Which, if it is really fantastic. Let's see. Reversers are still armed. Thrust is... spoilers are auto. That's LAX right in front of us. Fairly certain. We're only 20 miles from the airport, so I'm going to go ahead and start extending our slats. $5,000 at gates. A little high, but manageable. Ah, that's almost bang on. Gate 0 miles, 5,000, down to 3,600, and down it continues to go. That's a pretty good argument for it actually knowing what it's doing. There's LA. I'm not sure what I was pointing at there. There's LAX. Out of the mist and haze and smog. Okay. Go ahead and go another degree of flaps here. What was it? Speed again? 129. Okay, 129 it is. Go ahead and prepare for this guy. Flaps 30. Let's go ahead and activate the approach mode. Turn VNav off, approach mode. Looking for the localizer and glide slope, which we're just a little bit below, but we'll catch up to it, I am sure. Full flaps. 7 miles, gear down. It's really going to increase the drag on the aircraft, so we give it a little bit more juice. We want to stay on our ref speed of 129. We're way too slow at the moment. A little more power, please, plane. Wow. Screenshot that, please, and thank you. Okay. Reverser set. What's up, Kenny? Thanks for stopping by, bud. Yeah, my title is wrong. It probably didn't update. This is actually LA. So hopefully I'll just skip right off of the runway into the ocean. Okay, we're right on the Pappies to white to red. 1,000 feet call out. Autopilot. Disconnect. My plane. Let's see what we can do. little high. Let's chase it a little bit. Nice straight in wind. I love it. Well, a little low now.
Minimums.
Go ahead.
100 minimums. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, reversers are not working for me on this plane, but that's okay. Hey, welcome to LA.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Los Angeles.
That's what I just said.
The local time is 7:26 p.m. and it's currently about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins, as items may have been shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, we thank you for flying with us.
Okay.
If you're making a connection, we encourage you to check your itinerary.
That
to
was a
ensure
pretty
smooth
smooth
continuation of
landing
your
by
journey.
anybody's measures. And reversers disarmed. Let's fire up the APU. 1, 2, 3. Kick that bad boy on. Go to our charts, take a look and see where the heck we are, and I'll look at the real world flight today. And this plane docked up at no gate. Okay. That's disconcerting. Anybody else? Going to 53A. And parking stands. 53A, we're at Hotel 4. So we'll get on Hotel, go down to Hotel 5, cross runway 25 right, into Bay 5, and gate 53 Alpha. Hoorah. Maybe we'll do 5-1 Bravo, since that looks like a smaller gate. Cool. Release park and brake. Spool up the engines. Get our landing lights off. We don't need those. Kill the strobe. You know, that wasn't as good of a landing on the math as I thought it was. 150, now that's actually really good. 166 feet per minute, 1.5 Gs. Just a little rumble. Rumbly in your tumbly. This should be Hotel 4. Sorry, Hotel 5. To cross runway 25 right. There's nobody here. We're not stopping. and let's see. I know I said Hotel 5, but this is looking a little bit more palatable gate-wise for a little plane. I'm pretty sure none of these are taxiways for me. That's okay. Yeah, this is the stuff. Right down there at the end. Clean up our flaps. Tap the brakes. And we're going to take this guy right here. Oh, is that going to reach? There's no way. Parking brake set. Let's see if the jetway comes down to meet us. Well, it's going to give it a shot. While it's doing that, let's go ahead and kick over to external power. Yep. And I love these engines. One off and off. Seatbelt sign off. Smoke them if you got them. Probably shouldn't have been flying with those boosts on the whole way. That's alright. Awesome. And that is how you get to LA. Probably should have done that beforehand. Cool. Awesome. That was a great way to end the flight. We're deboarding. 92% satisfaction rate. Go ahead and end the flight and see what people thought. Yeah, extreme flying conditions. Couple of dings for that. And soft landing. They liked it. 154 feet per minute. Flight time of 51 minutes, block time of 1 hour and 8 minutes. 66 people safe and sound in Los Angeles, California from Phoenix. Well, that's a great place to end it right there. Appreciate those of you who tuned in tonight. It's a lot of fun. It's a good way to relax and end of the day. Good night from Los Angeles, California.